You and I have learned so much over the past many years, and so I want to be able to share this in a deep way to be able to help any nurse coach who does want to start a private practice. If you're standing on the sidelines, you're wondering, man, I just don't get it. What are those things that are going to be getting in your way? What are the fears, most common mistakes, and how can you move past that to be able to build what you want to build?
Nurses and nurse coaches, welcome back to the Nurse Coach Collective podcast. Today and in our next series of episodes, we're going to dive into starting your own practice as a nurse coach. So if you have ever had any interest or inkling in starting your own business, or if perhaps you are out there in the throes of setting up your own practice, these next series of episodes are going to be super, super helpful. We are going to tackle and untangle the most common fears, the most common pitfalls, and the keys to set you up for success. I'm excited. We have a lot of ground to cover. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the biggest fear that you and I hear over and over again when it comes to starting your own practice, which is the fear of, oh my gosh, I know absolutely nothing about business. I'm going to have no idea how to do this, and I just can't possibly be successful, right? We hear this all the time.
Completely, yes.
It's true. The unknown is scary. We don't know what we don't know, and sometimes that in and of itself can feel daunting enough to hold us back from getting started. So before we dive into tackling this fear head on, talk to me about why it is that so many nurse coaches are drawn to and excited about the idea of starting their own practice. What's the appeal here, do you think?
The appeal is it's the ultimate manifestation of the most amount of freedom, fulfillment, income, and impact. It's like anything that you want to create, you are only going to be limited by your creativity. Nobody's going to be telling you what to do, when to do it, who you can work with, how you can work, how much income you can make, how much impact you can have. Instead, it's like, here's what I want to do. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to put in the effort to do that. And hopefully it goes really well and I'm able to do what I want to do at the highest level, right? So I really believe, it is the ultimate manifestation of just like the expression of being a creator, being a healer.
And in so many ways, that's the polar opposite of the roles and the jobs that so many of us nurses have been in for so long, where we feel tucked into this little box and following orders, and there is always somebody telling us what to do. So I love that you said that. Like there's nobody telling you what to do, which is the ultimate freedom. And also I think where some of that fear begins to come in of like, well, if nobody's here telling you what to do, what if I don't know what to do?
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing is like, okay, yes, you have to make up a lot of things. Yes, you have to use a lot of creativity, but there are also like proven processes, which is why I'm excited to be having these conversations over the next few episodes, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you do have to put in the work and the effort to be able to successfully get to that place. These episodes are exciting because like you and I have learned so much over the past many years. And so I want to be able to share this in a deep way to be able to help anybody who does want to, any nurse coach who does want to start a private practice. If like you're standing on the sidelines, you're wondering like, oh man, I just don't get it, or I'm afraid of getting started. Like, what are those things that are going to be getting in your way? What are the fears? What are the most common mistakes? And how can you move past that to be able to build what you want to build?
So you just alluded to the fact that you and I have put a lot of time and energy into learning exactly how to be successful in business as nurse coaches. Why should anybody listen to us? Why shouldn't anybody trust us?
Starting a private practice as a coach, as a nurse coach, starting a business, it is a big deal. A lot of businesses do not succeed. You and I have been in business for nearly a decade. It's a very, very hard thing to do. We have enrolled almost 5,000 nurse coaches into our training program, which means we have mastered the art of marketing, connecting with people. We have mastered the art of sales and enrollment, inviting people into our programs. And we've also done that before starting Nurse Coach Collective inside of our private practice, working with people one-to-one, finding them, connecting with them, and bringing them into this world, setting up systems to be able to do this work at scale. And so instead of like listening to somebody who's thinking about this in theory or who maybe has had a couple of small successes, what I want people to hear is like, we have done the work to be able to speak about this in a way with just true confidence. So what I want to talk about as we go through these things, it's not in the abstract, it's through literal experience that you and I have gone through and like all the trials and the tribulations. So hopefully as people listening to this, as our nurses, nurse coaches are listening to this, You can learn from our experience and know that it's coming from a space, like a grounded space of just deep working knowledge, experience, stories, successes, failures, so that we can teach from that place.
And people who have been exactly where you are and walked on this very amazingly fun and very challenging journey to get to where we are today. And not just that we've learned from our own experience, but because we've worked with so many nurses and supported so many nurse coach graduates, we've also really, really gained a great understanding of how to teach this and seen then living proof that what we have been able to create is a repeatable process to help so many others go on to create their successful businesses. Now, before we go any further in the episode, I really, really, really want to make this very crystal clear. If you are a nurse coach, if you are thinking about becoming a nurse coach, you do not need to start your own practice, okay? Starting a business is 100% not for everyone. Some of you out there are like, yeah, I want to find out what this is about and maybe it's for me. Excellent. Some of you are like, absolutely not. This is never going to be for me. Beautiful. I really want you to know that we have graduates who work in so many different fields of healthcare, whether it's hospitals, clinics, wellness centers, running retreats, leadership, education, you name it. We have entire episodes on all of the opportunities that are available as nurse coaches, not just business and starting your own practice.
And this is something that we've been wanting to do for a while because, truth be told, I don't want to hold this information myself. You and I don't want to. We want to share it with as many nurse coaches as possible. And so if you are in private practice, if you're considering private practice, if you're not even a nurse coach yet and you're wondering about private practice, you're going to find value inside of this simply through our stories and experience and talking about what we've been through and what's worked for us.
So let's talk about this big bad fear of feeling like you cannot start your own business or be successful in your own practice because you know absolutely nothing about business. What do you know about that, Peter?
This was a wild journey. I sometimes look back on this singular image that I had that I tried to recreate from somebody else, where it was me with books just stacked taller than I was sitting. And I had read all of these books over the course of the past year, not even including all the ones on Kindle. And it was just this experience of just learning so much, not only learning about nurse coaching and everything inside of there, but then learning everything there is about marketing and sales and systems and setting everything up. But the really, really cool thing is, in this moment in time, it is not a knowledge deficit that's holding anybody back. And what I mean by that is we have everything available to us to be able to know, here's how you start a business from A to Z, from beginning to end. Like, you can go on, you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Grok, like, how do I do this, right? And it will tell you
Step by step, exactly what you got to do.
Exactly what to do. And so that's all cool, right? And I was able to learn so much from all those books and all that learning, but learning without a great mindset, without taking action, without having a community, without having mentors, like, you're just not going to get to where you want to get to. And so there are so many other things that stand in the way rather than just a knowledge deficit, which is why we really want to spend time talking about these things.
For me, what comes up when I hear someone who is focusing on that knowledge deficit, right? I don't know anything about business. I didn't learn anything about that in nursing school. Great. You're in wonderful company. Almost every single nurse who enters into nurse coaching and decides to start their own practice knows nothing about business to begin with. Simply, I hope it puts your mind at ease to know that you're not supposed to know
No way. Yeah.
anything about business yet. You're simply not. And in fact, I think the greatest piece of wisdom that I can give you in this moment is actually, if I can help you put on pause those fears and needs and desires to know all of that nitty-gritty knowledge and how to set up a business and to succeed in business, and I can slow you way down, I'm going to tell you what the actual secret is to any successful business, and that is having an amazing service to offer, having something that you are really, really good at, so that you know you can work with this client or that client or anybody out there and sit down with them as a nurse coach, and you can feel confident and you can be effective and you can have a repeatable process to help them achieve their health and wellness goals and achieve their results every single time. When you can do that, business is easy. Getting clients is easy, sales is easy, marketing is easy. everything else falls into place because you're great at what you do. The referrals roll in. People want to tell everybody about how amazing it is to work with you. So everybody needs to slow down and not get so caught up in the, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about business. And instead, let's focus on what we do here at the Nurse Coach Collective, which is first and foremost helping you sharpen the tools, the skills to become an amazing nurse coach and have that service to offer.
And we have the free business accelerator course, included with the nurse coach training, but there's like a certain cadence to it, right? So the first 15 weeks is all devoted to doing exactly what you said. It's not just mastering like the service side of things, but it truly is mastering everything around nurse coaching, which is being able to listen to somebody so deeply that it changes their world, being able to empower them, being able to hold space, being able to connect with them in a truly, truly powerful way. And the reason that we focus entirely on that and we don't open access to the business course, just at like week 1 or something like that is because it's going to be confusing. Like there's going to be trying to do too many things at once, right? You're going to be 20 steps ahead, putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. And it's important because everything that you do inside a business, not only do you need that incredible service to be able to offer people, but all those skills are directly transferable. When I think about marketing, I think about it as connecting with people en masse, right? So I'm talking about what I'm doing over and over again in a way that's from a space of confidence, but I'm also connecting with them on a one-to-one level, right? When I think about the most important aspects of having sales conversations or inviting somebody, making proposals, enrolling somebody into your offers and programs, the most important thing is being able to listen to somebody, to be able to deeply understand what are their pains, what are their problems, what hasn't worked for them for so many years, right? Why are they in such a deep state of unhealth, unwellness, their relationships are suffering, what's going on with them? And then what are their dreams? How can I listen to their dreams? And how can I help them build this powerful vision of their future? And then how can I take all of that and reflect it back to them in such a way that's so powerful that they're like, duh, it makes absolute no sense to not work with you. Whatever you're charging, I'm going to pay for. And so the skills of nurse coaching, when done well, and when you learn them well, are so quickly transferred over to the world of business and private practice that's why we kind of have that cadence. And that's why these two worlds just work together so seamlessly.
We start with the nurse coach training for that very purpose of helping you reach that level of confidence and reach that ability to really know how to coach someone, how to show up for someone and with somebody. And then that is transferable into every single aspect of business. Okay, then next, what you were alluding to is, then we release the business course, which is this epic additional training that covers every single nut and bolt of starting your business to having you graduate with paying clients if you want to set everything up that quickly. I won't go into too much detail about everything that is crammed into that course because we have an entire episode. You can look that one up dedicated to all the ins and outs of that. It's included 100% for free with your nurse coach training because we want you to have everything that you need to succeed. Give me the 1-minute rundown of everything that's included inside of that business course and why it's so awesome for exactly this nurse who's like, I don't have any idea where to start. I don't know how to do this.
Well, the first thing that you start with is the nurse coach training, which is now being offered at more than 50% off from just a few months ago. So that's going to give you all of your foundations. It's going to give you also your community, your mentorship, the mindset, everything that you need to have that foundation to then begin to move into starting your own private practice. And the reason it's so challenging, the reason it took me, I don't tell this story often, but it took me spending $50,000. I'd saved up $50,000 to go to school for anesthesia. I'd saved up that money, and it took me having to spend $50,000 learning everything about business, making all these mistakes, making all these investments to make my first $1,000 of a sale. And so the goal is to help you skip all of that by training you, by teaching you, showing you that there are simple processes that you can do in order to set yourself up so that you can do what so many of our graduates did, which was impossible for me because I didn't have this proven process. So many of our graduates have had paying clients before they complete their training because they understand how to take this service, how to speak about it enough to be able to market it, to connect with people, pull them into conversations, to be able to enroll them, and how to do that all in a systematic way that's repeatable, that you can almost begin to do on autopilot so you can do more of what you love, which is to help people, to heal them, and to coach them.
So we're talking everything from the very basics naming your business and setting up your website, all the way down to a HIPAA compliant way to document your session notes, reach out, scheduling, just everything that most nurses' heads will begin to spin when they think about what it entails to start their own business. We, but really, I should say primarily you, created this absolute masterpiece of a business course that holds the hand of any nurse coach who really wants to be successful in starting their own business.
Awesome, y'all. So stick with us over these next few episodes. Heather and I are going to be sharing some super cool stories and insights that will hopefully go a long way no matter where you're at on your journey, y'all. So thanks for joining in, and we'll see you in the next episode.